Hello everybody and welcome back to my CD collection series. This is part 3 in my series. I'm not sure how many videos this is going to take, but we'll just keep going along with part 3. And we left off in part 2 with the Beach Boys, and in part 1 we did the Beatles and the solo Beatles albums. So following the Beach Boys and the Beatles, here's another album that was from my high school days. I remember getting this and listening to this a lot driving around. This is Beck, Odelay. I really like all the songs on this album, but I've never actually checked out too much of Beck's other albums that are out there. I know he has quite a few different albums, but for some reason I've just never listened to them at all, but I really do enjoy this one. Next up we have Bee Gees, their greatest hits, the record. This is a 2 CD set of their greatest hits, and I really love this CD. This has got a lot of great stuff on it. And yep, it's a 2 CD set, like I said. But aside from this, that's all the Bee Gees CDs I got. Next up is Chuck Berry, the Definitive Collection. This is 30 of his greatest hits here. And then we got the Black Crowes Greatest Hits 1990 to 1999. And like I mentioned in my previous video, a lot of the CDs that I got are greatest hits collections. Not too many albums I have. This is Black Sabbath, We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll, another really good Black Sabbath collection. And here we have the Best of Blondie. And here's a soundtrack to the movie The Blues Brothers, one of my favorite films of all time. I really enjoy this film, and as well as all the music on there is really good. Camera's having a little trouble focusing today. And then I don't remember if it was before or after making the film. They actually did go out and they did tours and stuff, and they performed live, the Blues Brothers. John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd did. And honestly, they're very, very good. So if you like the Blues Brothers movie and soundtrack, be sure to check out. I think they got at least 2 albums of concert material. And next up we have Boston's debut album. Now, usually when people ask me what my favorite debut album is, I usually say this album, because this is just a solid album all the way through. I really love this one. I know there's plenty you could choose from, but this one really sticks out in my mind as a really good debut album by a band. And then I also got Boston Greatest Hits. Now this next one is the first CD I ever owned. I picked up this CD before I even had a CD player to play it on, but a friend of mine and I were really into these guys in junior high and high school, and I decided to pick up the Best of the Booker T and the MGs. And believe me, I played this a lot. You can see here, this was back when I was in the, let's see here, is it going to focus? The BMG Music Club. Getting all those CDs for a penny. All right, next up we have Best of Bowie. 20 of David Bowie's greatest hits here. And we got 20 of James Brown's greatest hits. Another really good greatest hits album here, which I haven't listened to in a long time. I really need to listen to this again. I'm finding that to be true as I go through this series. There's a lot of albums I haven't listened to in a long time. Here's a really good country artist, Junior Brown. I think this is his debut album, Get With It. Some of you might be familiar with his song Highway Patrol. And I got another one of his albums here, Semi Crazy. That's his guitar he calls the Get Steel. I think he actually invented that himself. It's got a 6-string guitar and a lap steel built into one. And I mean, he plays that really good too. It's really amazing. This one I think I picked up in a collection of CDs somewhere. It came with a whole bunch of other stuff. It's a Jimmy Buffett album. I believe, judging by the cover, I'm thinking this is a live album. I've never actually listened to it. What is it called? Feeding Frenzy. And here we have The Byrds, 20 essential tracks from their box set, 1965 to 90, which I do not have, but I do have this collection from that set. And here we have All the Best of Glenn Campbell. And if I remember right, this CD case is broken maybe, but and I think this is Glenn Campbell's last album, Adios. Recorded this while he was unfortunately suffering from Alzheimer's disease, but I just picked this one up not too long ago, so I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but I'm sure it's pretty good. And another greatest hits here. This is Canned Heat, the very best of Canned Heat. Another album I really enjoy. If you like that blues, late 60s blues music. And here we have the best of Captain and Tennille, another part of the 20th Century Masters collection here. And the Cars' greatest hits. And now we get into some Johnny Cash. This is Just As I Am, it's called. It's not really a proper album, I don't think. It's just a collection of his gospel music. And this one is called The Very Best of Johnny Cash, but I beg to differ. I'm not too sure about the track listing on here. Yes, there's some greatest hits on here, some really good songs, but it's kind of an interesting selection of tracks on there. I wouldn't call some of those his very best songs, but I mean, it is Johnny Cash, so what's not to like? Here we have Johnny Cash, The Christmas Spirit. Here's The Legend of Johnny Cash. Again, another greatest hits collection. And that must have performed pretty well because there's a Legend of Johnny Cash Volume 2. And next up we have Cash. I think this is his first in the American Recordings series. He worked with Rick Rubin on those. Alright, next up here we have Def Leppard, Adrenalize. And Def Leppard's Pyromania. And there was another Def Leppard one here, but I must have misplaced it. We'll maybe come across it. Probably because it's in the C section when it's supposed to be in the D section. Here we have the very best of Sheryl Crow. Yeah, here's the other Def Leppard. This is the greatest hits, 1980 to 1995. I must have put these in the wrong stack here as I was setting things up. Alright, back to the C's. Here's Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Deja Vu. Another really good album. I'm not sure what company put this out, but it's Simply the Best, Jim Croce, Time in a Bottle. This is his greatest hits. I don't know if it's like a kind of like a bootleg thing or something like that, but it does have pretty much all the songs that I like of his on here, so that's why I picked it up. Another great collection of songs here. Creedence Clearwater Revival, Chronicle, featuring John Fogerty. And between that and volume 2 of Chronicle here, this is just a really great 2-album set of their songs. It's well worth picking up. Here we have the very best of Cream. And I don't know, you can say what you will about this person personally, but I really do enjoy his comedy. It's really funny to me, I guess. I don't know if you can separate the man from the art that he was doing at the time, but yeah, just some really funny stuff on this. As well as the next one here is Bill Cosby, Why Is There Air? I think I do have this on vinyl too, but it was played so much, it just got so much use and wore out, I had to get it on CD. Here we have the best of Alice Cooper, Mascara and Monsters. One thing you got to say is Rhino, they really put out a lot of good albums, a lot of good collections. Here we have Phil Collins hits, one of his greatest hits collections. And the next two I think I also got in a box full of CDs that I got at a sale somewhere. So I've never actually listened to these next two Phil Collins albums. This is But Seriously. For me, I pretty much just like the greatest hits of Phil Collins. And here's No Jacket Required. Next is Collective Soul, 7-Year Itch, another greatest hits collection. Sorry for the glare. And here another 20th Century Masters. This is the Best of Joe Cocker, another really good album. I really love listening to this. A lot of good stuff on this one. And back when I was really into rockabilly, this is one of the first albums I picked up. This is Eddie Cochran's Something Else. Greatest hits collection of his. A lot of good stuff on there too. Kind of the thing with me, if I get into a certain genre or something, I kind of want to check out everything that's out there, or get a lot of stuff anyway. Next up we have The Cream of Clapton. This is an early Eric Clapton greatest hits collection. Looks like it's from 1995. So we got stuff from Cream, Blind Faith, Derek and the Dominoes. And then to follow up that one, we have Clapton Chronicles. This is more the later greatest hits, I guess. Up to, when did this come out? 1999. But these two together are a really good collection of songs. As well as this one I just recently picked up. I found it in a discount bin somewhere. The Complete Clapton. This is a 2 CD set. And here we have Eric Clapton, Pilgrim. Another really good album. I just picked this one up on vinyl recently too. And like I said with Boston, people ask me what my favorite debut album is. I tell them that their debut album is my favorite. And then if they ask me what my favorite live album is, I usually end up saying Eric Clapton Unplugged. I don't know if you can, I'm sure you can call that a live album, can't you? And this is the deluxe version that came out in 2013. We got the full album here, and then we got a disc of some 6 bonus tracks that weren't included in the performance, and then we actually have the whole DVD of the video of the performance, which is really nice to have. Alright, so now we're right at the 19.5-minute mark, so I think I'm gonna end this video here and tell you to stay tuned for part 4, where I keep going with the rest of my CDs. Take care.